गुड इवनिंग देवी और सज्जनों। थेम्स स्पीक्स के आज के इस कार्यक्रम में आप सभी का हार्दिक स्वागत है। थेम्स स्पीक्स के इस कार्यक्रम में हम अनेकों नई नई चीज़ों के बारे में चर्चा करते हैं, उन सारी कहानियों और किस्सों के बारे में चर्चा करते हैं जो थेम्स नदी अपने साथ चुरा कर लाती है। थेम्स नदी, एक नदी का ऋण शायद अपनी ज़िंदगी में कभी नहीं भुला सकती, और वो नदी है हुगली नदी, जो गंगा का एक पार्ट है। उस हुगली नदी जिसके किनारे दक्षिणेश्वर में माँ काली का मंदिर है, जहाँ रामकृष्ण परमहंस हुए, जहाँ विवेकानंद हुए। इसलिए थेम्स भुला नहीं सकती उस कहानी को, क्योंकि उसका एक बड़ा कारण है, क्योंकि ब्रिटिश राज की स्थापना कलकत्ता के बिना अधूरी थी। कलकत्ता वो पहला शहर था जो ब्रिटिश राज की एक बहुत बड़ी राजधानी बना, एक बड़ा व्यापार का केंद्र बना। यदि आप प्लासी के युद्ध को, या फिर बंगाल के फेमीन को, या फिर बंगाल के भद्रलोक को, इन सारी चीज़ों को देखें तो आपको लगेगा कि थेम्स नदी के इस बहने में और इस देश के इस ऐश्वर्य में हुगली नदी का बहुत बड़ा योगदान है, और जिसे इतिहास में एक लंबे दौर में देखा जा सकता है। उसी थेम्स नदी के दौर के अंदर देखा जाए तो हुगली नदी से एक सज्जन निकले जिन्होंने लीफी सबर्ब हेम्पस्टेड हीथ में काफ़ी समय रहे, जिन्होंने एक बहुत फेमस कविता लिखी, द नाइट इज ब्लैक एंड फॉरेस्ट हैज नो एंड, a million people thread it in a million ways. We have tries to keep in the darkness, but where or with whom? Of that we are unaware. But we have this faith that's a lifetime's bliss will appear any minute with a smile upon its lips. Sense, touches, sounds, snatches of songs, brush us, pass us, give us delightful shocks. Then peradventure there is a flash of lightning. Whomever I see that instant, I fall in love with that. I call that person and cry, this life is blessed. For your sake such miles I have traversed. All those others who came close and moved off in the darkness, I don't know if they exist or not. This poem was written by one of the most famous poet from India, Ravindranath Tagore, whom we pronounce Tagore as well. So today, I have esteemed guests. By profession, they work in IT, they work in engineering, they are very good business leaders in this country. But by heart, if I'm talking about Saurabh, he is also a very good musician. He runs a band which is called Spandan. He is an extremely great guitarist. He plays different type of music. He plays different type of musical instruments and trains different students. And at the same time, we have one more, and his name is Saket, who is from Kolkata. He is an engineer. He is also a global business leader, and he works with different companies. There are a lot of things in their biography, but the main idea is Saket is also an actor. सो बंगालीज में एक विशेष चीज़ है, आप चाहे इंजीनियर बने, चाहे आप डॉक्टर बने, या आप बिजनेस लीडर बने, पर आपके अंदर कला की एक विशेष भावना रहती है. सो आई वुड लाइक टू वेलकम सौरभ बसु एंड सैकेत फॉर दिस प्रोग्राम. वेलकम सौरभ एंड वेलकम सैकेत.
Namaskar, Harenji. Namaskar to all of you.
It's good to see you, both of you. And as I said earlier, I think you have a Vardhan from Saraswati. You worship Ma Kali, but you have a Vardhan from Saraswati. You work as an engineer, or you work as a global business leader, or you work in IT sector. But still, by heart, there's one more passion. It may be acting, it may be singing, it may be dancing, or it may be music instrument. So it's great to hear, because this is also a human evolution or human journey. Apart from a simple living, we also need to do certain things so that we can satisfy our own Atma. And that's what I think you are doing. And this is the core of this program that we will talk about the Panchamukhi and all other ideas today. But my first question will be from Saket, that we hear about its Bengal and its connection with UK. There's a lot of history. So how far back we can go and what we can discuss about it?
Very interesting question, Harenji. And when I talk about Bengal and its history and connection with the UK, it actually goes hundreds of years back to the times of the East India. Obviously, East India Company was established in the early 17th century and got permission to trade in 1600 by Queen Elizabeth I. The interesting point is, when they landed in India, the first factory that they set up in India was in Bengal, and that was in 1650. And then happened the Battle of Plassey, which you mentioned in your introductory speech. Now, Battle of Plassey actually was a big phenomenon, because what it did is it transformed East India Company from being just a business entity to something which had a military power, which had a political power, and which had an administrative power. And that then helped them to facilitate and open the doors of trade and people movement from in and out of Bengal. What followed in subsequent years is that Bengal and movement of people, migration of people from Bengal, probably is one of the biggest people movements in modern times. And that is a very interesting history to go back to, I think.
I agree. And Saurabh, what are the main areas of the connection between Bengal and the UK?
It's a very good question, Harinji. Now, there are a lot of connections. First of all, we have to understand that, as you rightly mentioned about East India Company and pre-independence, the question is, why did the British select Bengal in the first place, right? Now, if you go back to the history, the main reason was the diversity what Bengal had at that time. It was called like one of the first metropolis in India at that time. And in terms of like the richness in resources, then culture and heritage, it was the place where British knew that they have to be, because this is one of the most important colonial ports at that time, right? And French was the South India and British was the like in Calcutta, right? And you rightly mentioned that how was like Calcutta formed. It's like if we call up Job Charnock, he was a person 300 years back, built the city called Kolkata. He was from East India Company. And the biggest connection which we have right now between then and now is that the cultural exchange, the English as a language, the research collaborations, all this happening, right? It's like a lot of things happening, and plus the tourism as well. So that's how it's been connected in modern day era to if I take from the days from pre-independence.
I will agree with you. I think they used a lot of terms, especially in British Raj, which were related to Bengal.
Right.
And my next question will be from Sakaji, that can you shed some light on how different eminent personalities from the Bengal, they related to the UK, or they traveled to the UK, or they have shown their skills and their special, I can say, Vardhan to the world through UK.
Yeah. Again, I mean, just to expand a little bit on what Saurabh said to the previous question and leading on to these eminent personalities from Bengal, because it's all part of the same history which has transcended time and moved on. So in the past, obviously, Bengal was the most fertile place, and was very prosperous, and was the main stronghold of the British Empire, and based on which they expanded in the whole of India. Trade was a big point in Bengal because what Bengal offered and was in great demand to the Western world was the saris and the textiles at the time, and then came the jute and the tea, and then came subsequently things like papers and leathers and other industries as well. But then
I'm sorry, I will just interject and say something. When you mention all these things and commodities, I think I will add one extra spice. Then came Marwadis.
Absolutely, you're spot on to that. Absolutely, yes. I was coming to that. Yeah.
Calcutta and Bengal without the contribution of Marwadis is incomplete. I would gladly accept that. And then that quickly moved on to education, and education was a big thing, because the Western model of education and the modern system of education in India, it came through Kolkata. Hindu College was established in 1817. Fort William College was established in 1800. Calcutta Medical College, which was the first medical college, the first medical school in Asia, was established in 1835. It moved on to other institutions like Calcutta University. As some of the scholars who we have seen have then traveled to the UK have actually come from all of these education institutions of that time. Start with Rabindranath Tagore. obviously you mentioned Guru Rabindranath Tagore at the beginning. Um, there's a great connection between him and the UK. I mean, he came to UK a number of times, and I've read some of the interesting stories about his time in the UK. So, 1878, he came to the UK and he used to attend lectures at University College London. That was phenomenal. And then he was very inspired and he loved the Western music, particularly the Scottish, English, and the Irish folk. Quite appealing. I suppose some of it actually was in his family because his grandfather, Prince Dwarkanath Tagore, he appreciated Western music in his home. Rabindranath very much enjoyed his time in the UK. He attended music classes when he was in the UK. He attended dance classes. He went to concerts. He went to operas. And what followed after that was there was, and he was one of those who assimilated, melodies and tunes and cultures. And then what he transformed them into is something very unique to him, Rabindranath, unique to Bengal and unique to India. So there was an influence, but he transformed into something quite unique for India and Bengal. And then, so he went on to do a lot of things after his return from the UK. Some of the early musical plays he created, such as, in the early days, had a lot of Western opera influence in them, like, Valmiki Vibrata and all of that. And then, so Rabindranath Tagore had enjoyed his time in the UK and the influence he had from UK that he carried over to India, Bengal, when he created all of these masterpieces was astonishing. Swami Vivekananda, you mentioned about Swami Vivekananda. He came to UK in 1895. He came to UK in 1896. Swamiji was preaching his Hinduism and the spirituality, and a lot of people actually, at that time, the Westminster Gazette, the Standard, all had rave reviews, really great stories about Swamiji and his preachings. And he came and he actually delivered a lecture in Prince's Hall in Piccadilly, and he quickly gathered a lot of people around him and followers. And some notable names amongst them was, say, Miss Margaret Noble, who became Sister Nivedita at a later
Here
time.
I will add two things, Sakaji, before we can move forward.
Sure.
Vivekananda came to UK and he stayed in a place, but if we go and see the condition of the place, it looks so dilapidated. There's a blue plaque there, but still I can see the condition of that place is not so great. Second thing, it just reminded me the modern school education system which you mentioned, which was started in India when British people came. There were two schools which were competing to become the first professional schools in India. That was Mayo College and Rajkumar College. These two schools, but finally Rajkumar College from Rajkot, they work with very high speed, and that was India's first professional school, which was the foundation of the modern school system. So these are the two things. And third thing which I can mention today, just as a pride I can put in this way, Vivekananda, when he was in India, he was basically supported by Maharaja of Khetri. So Vivekananda, I think if you'll see Bengalis, they never use safa on their head. Vivekananda was the first person maybe who used the safa because Maharaja of Khetri gave him the safa so that he put throughout his life, and both were lifelong friends. And Khetri Maharaja took care of his family, his mother and other people through pensions and other things. And they used to discuss everything in detail through letters. And I got letters from some reliable sources, and it tells us the story of Vivekananda's journey in UK. But before I will come to the next question, I will ask Saurabhji, I know maybe the modern generation I was discussing with you, probably they forgot the glory of the Kolkata. Probably they forgot how Kolkata was once upon a time and how important place it was for British Raj and for Indians. But how is modern day collaboration between UK and Bengal?
It's a very good question, Ranji. This is where we are working on right now. honestly. Okay, I think the collaboration between UK and Bengal is on. It was always there, but I think it has gone to a different height right now.
Yes.
Okay, there are a lot of things happening, like in terms of education system, in terms of English as a language, right? I know there's been a collaboration between the governments, two governments, where the English they are like teaching English in different schools, and that's one thing, like which is kind of leading to employability, and also in terms of research collaborations, a lot of things happening on that. Then also in terms of basically cultural exchanges. Okay, there's a huge thing happening on the cultural exchanges, and when we come to Panchamuki as an organization, we'll come to that. We'll discuss that how we kind of have like taken that a step to the future in terms of this collaboration. Like we been collaborating with different with large media houses like Anand Bajar Patrika, Sangbad Pratidin, and we have been having huge shows here which where is both the parties, like it's like a basically a collaboration between east and the west, and that's the thing, and we are being doing over the years. And yes, so these are the areas, and plus the cultural tourism, normal tourism, everything has been kind of right now. There is a saying right now that Calcutta is trying to be like London, right? They're trying to convert Calcutta to London, and that's the kind of ethos behind this. Why London only? Because of these connections,
Yes.
and we are the kind of torch bearers right now in this country. We are trying to take this to the next level, basically. Yeah.
We will continue this conversation, but whenever we talk about Bengal, the first word which comes to our mind is Durga Puja. And when we talk about Durga Puja, then the first word which comes to our mind is women empowerment. This discussion will be not fruitful if we will not discuss with the ladies, those who are behind the scenes, those who are creating strong ties between Bengal and UK. We have two esteemed guests. Kavitaji and Paulaji. Kavitaji is a co-founder of Panchmukhi charity, which organizes different mega events for students, for people, and Durga Puja in London. And Paulaji, she is also a renowned personality. She worked in ABP Publications. She was working in Air India, and she is also highly involved with meditation and other activities. So I would like to welcome Kavitaji and Paulaji, and we will continue with Saurabhji and Sakarji. Good evening, Paulaji and Kavitaji.
Good evening, Harendra.
So it's great to see you here. And as I said earlier, when we talk about Bengal, we definitely think about Durga Puja. And when we think about Durga Puja, definitely we will talk about women and women empowerment. So there are a lot of questions, but first of all, maybe I will ask one question to Kavitaji, that especially it's about Panchmukhi. What is the objective behind it, and what's your role in the organization?
Good evening, Harendra. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for the question, and good evening to all your viewers. So I will divide this question in two parts, like you said. So how Panchmukhi was conceived. So let me start with the word Panchmukhi, or as your viewers probably would be quite conversant.
I will just interject here. Yes, I think people are more worried about two-mukhi, means double-faced people. But I think people will be happy with the
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely, I agree, yes. So the significance of the number 5 in the Indian subcontinent, your viewers would have heard about the Panchamukhi Rudraksha, the Panchamrit, or the Pancha Pandav. So it is the 5-face.
The Panch Mahabhut, the 5 elements.
Yes.
Yeah, the 5 elements.
And so to draw, when we coined the name, the significance of Panchamukhi was the 5-faced hibiscus flower. That is an aspect of it is also a part of the ritual where this flower is offered to Ma Kali. So that is how the name was selected.
Point.
And this is an interesting, this might be interesting to your viewers, because Ma Kali again is another form of Ma Durga. So it goes without saying that there is a link there. So this is how the name came into being. As for how the organization came into being, well, I think art and culture is what makes us human. It separates us from all the other living creatures. You can say that human beings are live in groups, they have language, but living in groups, lots of other animal world also do that. Lots language. You now hear dolphins have their own language. But I think art and culture, appreciation of art and culture, is what makes us different. It gives some value, it adds value to our life. So, as an expat community, we've wanted to preserve, as every community does,
I will add
we
one
want to
sentence
preserve.
here. I think art and culture, especially music, is something which connects this Atma with Paramatma. And that's the sole
Absolutely,
objective
absolutely.
of that's the sole objective of this whole journey or this process.
Can't agree more. And it transcends barriers of language.
Yes.
So it is something that even if you do not understand what is being said, you understand the bhav. So that is quite important to mention. Now, Panchamukhya, as some of you would know, as a group of friends came together with a small idea to celebrate our art and culture against the backdrop of what we know best is the Bengali Durga Puja. So there is, there is no self-respecting Bengali would say that I don't know anything about Durga Puja. So everybody knows about Durga Puja. But to preserve this, to keep this alive, this art and culture, it is not good enough to just relate to your children, to just take them to museums, make them read books. That is not enough. So they have to be part of that experience. They have to live that experience and say, yes, I understand by being surrounded by it, this art and culture.
I truly agree with
So
you. Culture
therefore,
is not something which is for decoration. Culture is something to live with it.
absolutely, absolutely. And how better to take this forward than by trying to recreate what we left behind?
Yes.
So this was the idea. So 5 friends became 10, 10 became 100, and so
Finally, you
it
got
just
a big
became this.
organization which is known as a Panchmukhi.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And this is how this there was this keen interest to preserve what we left, and if at the same time, I must say, Harinji, that we are mindful of where we are. So you cannot live in isolation in your own little groups. So it's
Yes.
important when we showcase our art and culture that we create a mutual understanding amongst the communities here. We create there is dialogue, and I think dialogue this within other communities, and it is also an open forum. It leaves room for others to join in, to participate, or be simply an observer.
Yes.
So-
Before we can continue, I would like to, I just need one comment from Paulaji, who is patiently listening to us. What is the impact of this? What is the impact of this Durga Puja on younger generation and this Durga Utsav, and how younger generation enjoyed it? Please, a brief comment from you. I think we are not able to hear Paulaji. Probably if she is on a mute mode. Kavita ji,
Ji Hirenji.
I think Paulaji, we are not able to hear Paulaji's voice. Probably she is on a mute mode. Kavita ji, can you just shed a light on this particular part, that how it has affected the younger generation? Or what was the impact on younger generation?
Again, I must go back to the same point where if you have to lead the younger generation, you would have to lead by example.
Yes.
So no amount of, like we know, we have young children growing up, so no amount of, stories or books can help this, except when they experience it themselves. Other than the religious aspect, the cultural aspect, there is this sense of being responsible to a community. You have to give back. So I think through this Utsav or through this organization, what we try to do is giving back what importance it lies in this aspect. So I think there is no better way of teaching our younger generation.
I think that's
about,
fulfilling for your charity obligation, for especially through these cultural organizations.
Okay, if you want that charity, if I say that charity is, loosely speaking, is dan. Okay, we do artha dan, we do shram dan, we do anna dan. So all these forms part of a charity. But if you are speaking, we are a registered UK charity here, and we do raise money to give for every year to give to variety of charities back in India as well as in UK. However, I think the most important part of the charity that we do, which is the art and culture charity, is, in simple words, to put that smile in someone's face. Okay, when someone works tirelessly for everything they're doing, be it volunteering in the organization, the little job of getting ready the puja samagri for the puja, bringing
I think that
water
effort,
in.
the continuous and consistent effort from the volunteers, from the younger generation,
Absolutely,
from the families,
absolutely.
it brings a smile and a sense of satisfaction in the hearts of the communities and members of the community.
Absolutely.
And I
And
think
it
we will
leads
continue with
it-
this. Yeah, we will continue with this discussion after the break. But definitely, you mentioned an important aspect that's called Annadan. And if anyone will think about Bengalis and if they are talking about Annadan, probably they will expect that they should donate rasgullas. That will be the best Annadan which people will receive. We will continue with our discussion after the break.
Right now, we all need support.
Stay motivated and keep on track.
Join our coaches and wellness experts
For live and on-demand content,
Every single day.
from fitness to recipes, motivation to mindfulness,
and so much more.
Join our community so you don't feel so alone.
you're supported every step of the way.
For though we are apart, we are all in this together.
Let's make this our year of wellness.
Rethink your approach to food, fitness, and mindset. Rethink WW, wellness that works.
Want a huge 120 gig for a teeny 20 pounds per month? This 5G ready SIM is the biggest, smallest thing to happen to your phone. Make any phone punch above its weight by connecting it to EE, the UK's #1 network, 7 years running. So get our smallest, biggest SIM-only deal, a whopping 120 gig for just 20 pounds per month, online or over the phone. That's kind of a big deal.
At Heycar, all our cars come with a warranty. And we offer a 10-day money-back guarantee.
Yes, I can. Doubt, better leave. I wanna with this plan. Pull me, grab from the bucket, can't have me. I'll be the president one day. January 1st. Oh, you like that gossip? Like you the one drinking what gossip.com. Now I got a word for your tongue. How many Rolling Stones you want?
For the best quality cars, search Heycar now. Hey, buying a car never felt so good.
Now is the time to switch to Co-op car insurance. So wherever you are along the road, we have you covered. With new prices and new features such as our uninsured driver promise that protects your no-claims discount, there's never been a better time to switch to Co-op car insurance. Plus, if you buy direct, you'll also get a £50 Co-op gift card. Switch to us today by searching Co-op car insurance or calling 0800 115 115. Co-op, it's what we do.
For the perfect card this Mother's Day, think thoughtful.com. Find the card that says, Mum, thanks for wiping my bum when I was little. Or, I love how we don't even have to say I'm your favourite child. Or maybe this year it's more like, I can't wait to give you a hug when I can see you for real. Happy Mother's Day. At Thoughtful, we have thousands of cards like these, all designed by independent designers. And this year, we're supporting NHS charities together. So 5p from every Mother's Day card will go to support NHS charities. For the perfect card, think thoughtful.com.
These are uncertain times, but we know by washing our hands, we protect ourselves. That's why I find it shocking that so many families don't have the basics that we take for granted, like clean water and soap. This means they're much more likely to get deadly diseases like coronavirus, pneumonia and Ebola. And it's often their kids that suffer the most. Today, over 800 children will die from dirty water, no proper toilet, or just because they can't wash their hands. As a mother, it's heartbreaking. So I hope you'll join me in helping all those families that really need our help. Please text or call to give £2 a month to WaterAid. Just £2 a month can help buy pipes and taps for clean water, bricks and cement for washing stations, and of course soap. Working with local partners, WaterAid already helped over 27 million people, but they need our help to reach everyone, everywhere. Right now, we're all coming together to help each other. Today, please join me in bringing urgent help to those families who need it most. Please text WASH to 70570 or call 0800 044 5200. Thank you.
You could win the voice at buzzbingo.com. Play our exclusive spinner chair game for free, and you could win loads of prizes and the chance to win £1,000 every day. Play at buzzbingo.com.
वेलकम बैक देवी और सज्जनों। थेम्स स्पीक्स के इस कार्यक्रम में जिसमें हम चर्चा कर रहे थे बंगाल में हुगली से हैम्पस्टीड हीथ तक के सफ़र के बारे में। हम बात कर रहे थे रविंद्रनाथ ठाकुर के बारे में, हम बात कर रहे थे उसी बंगाली भद्रलोक से यहाँ इस यूके में रचे बसे हज़ारों लोगों के ऑर्गेनाइजेशन पंचमुखी के बारे में, जो अपनी एक्टिविटी से खुद की, समाज की और नए बच्चों को अपने कामों में जोड़े रखता है। हमारे पास ऐसे लोग हैं जो अपनी जो दैनिक जीवनचर्या है वो आईटी, बिजनेस और अलग अलग एस्पेक्ट्स में है, बट उनका खुद का एक शौक है, वो है ज़िंदगी को जीने का शौक। वो शौक जो इंसानों को बाकी जानवरों और पेड़ पौधों से अलग करता है, वो है खुद के कला और उसके म्यूज़िक के बारे में। We were discussing about this thing and we had two esteemed guests. Unfortunately, पौला जी की आवाज़ हम सुन नहीं पाए, लेकिन कई बार ऐसा होता है कि आई थिंक कविता जी हैज़ मेंशन शब्द और लैंग्वेज इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं है, भाव इंपॉर्टेंट है। यदि हम उनकी बात को समझ नहीं पाए या सुन नहीं पाए तो मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि हम उनके भावों को समझ पाए। तो आई वुड लाइक टू वेलकम कविता जी एंड पौला जी अगेन इन दिस प्रोग्राम।
थैंक यू हरेंद्र जी।
वेलकम कविता जी। एंड we have discussed about Panchmukhi organization. I know organization is not just one person or maybe a group of 5 people. There are a lot of people, those who are behind that organization. Sometimes when we talk on behalf of that organization, then it means we are representing the collective voice of all those people. We are representing the collective effort of the whole group. So I think this is how people should see and think about the community organizations. Panchmukhi has done a lot of great things, but I will be more interested to know about Panchmukhi organization, your role and people's role in its, Kavita ji.
Thank you, Harendra. Thank you for giving me this chance because it is important. Yes, I am a trustee and I'm a co-founder of this organization. But those are little office bearer roles. I would like to bring in front of you a scenario where tirelessly every individual is pitching in. Each one of us has a very, very, you know, it has a very, very hard life here, managing, our families, our work, children. We have most of us don't have any extended family around us. But putting that aside, for those few days or the run up to the event, every member, and in this organization, I'm so proud to say that they have this important role. They bring in so much. They have immense talents and have such capacity to give. And when I say give, it is important to again note that an organization sometimes is just based on different designations of who is the president, who is the cultural secretary, who is this and who is that. But that is not important. It is, like you said, shramdan or service. We all bring in something to the organization that is unique to us. Each one of us brings in that. And there is lots of people who are so vital to the organization who are not here. So I'm speaking on behalf of all of them that the whole is always bigger than the sum of its parts. So I have a very small role, and the organization has a large heart. And I want to share that heart with you. So this is how seamlessly, over the period of 5-6 days, you would find people tirelessly working background. You might not even see them. You might not even come to know of their names. But we know who they are and how important they have, a role they have to play in this organization. The person, putting forth the little tray of puja thali, the person doing the bhog, organizing the bhog, ready, the cultural programs, of course, tireless cultural programs.
In the age of narcissism या आत्ममुग्धता से भरे इस दौर में ऐसे लोग मिलना बहुत मुश्किल है. पर जब आप सच्चे मन से और सच्चे दिल से ऐसा काम करते हैं तो you find those right people who want to do the work and who want to enjoy the process, those who are more interested in the process. If I'm thinking about a cultural event, and if that cultural event is about Bengali community, definitely expectations are already higher that their music performances and dance performances will be on amazing level. So how do you visualize and manage those outstanding performances and music programs?
Okay, so you are talking about our flagship event, the Panchmukhi Durga Utsav.
Yeah.
And so again, the run up to the event, we have, so there are meetings done, and it is, we have little groups working together on the theme, on what we want to bring forth. And again, we are very, very lucky with people like Saikaji, you saw, Apology, and there are so many others. I cannot start taking names here because there's just, each one of them have got these amazing talent of working tirelessly, and they are musically very gifted, like you said, musically or drama, dance, or bringing in concepts, ideas, interacting with corporate people. So all this comes together, and then there are little groups that work together while working all simultaneously together as well. So this is what happens. This starts quite ahead of time, and again, with the experience of past 15 years now, 15, 16 years, it gets easier every year, I will say. At the same time, difficult because we are managing expectations. And so,
I think you will continue managing those expectations. Expectations will be higher and higher. There's a very famous quote in Urdu और हिंदी, अगर प्यास ही बुझ गई होती तो फिर जिंदगी ना होती. ये प्यास हम सब लोगों की, आप लोगों की हमेशा बढ़ती रहे, ऐसी मेरी मनोकामना है. My next question will be focused on Saurabh ji and Saikaji ji, those who are waiting for the next part of the discussion. I would like to welcome Saurabh ji and Saikaji ji, but I would like to thank Kavita ji as well. And unfortunately, we couldn't join Paula ji, but definitely her bhavs, her thought process has reached to us, and I hope it has reached to the audience as well. So, Saurabh ji and Saket ji, please. Welcome back, Saurabh ji and Saket ji. It seems there are two gents, but ladies thought, okay, for two gents, only one lady can easily handle them. So they thought there's no need for more ladies because they are multitasking. That's why you might have noticed. जब भी हम दुर्गा का या काली का या दूसरे अवतारों का देखते हैं तो उनकी 8 भुजाएं 16 भुजाएं होती है. They are multitasking. So I think this is, though I have seen one example today. Saurabh ji, my question will be focused on you. Which musical instrument do you play?
Wow. I play a lot of things. My biggest passion, I started playing guitar first, right? Probably before guitar, I used to play banjo. That was the first banjo and mouth organ. Started with when I was a kid. Then I learned guitar from one of the eminent musician called Carlton Kitto back in Calcutta days. Carlton Kitto used to play in Grand Hotel at that time, and he was one of the top jazz guitarists. So I was lucky enough to have some kind of training from him. Then then nowadays I play keyboard. I love playing keyboards, and so so those are the kind of, plus I love playing rhythm as well, in like percussion.
So I can visualize, in this 1 year, which I think we are almost completing 1 year of this lockdown. So I'm able to visualize a morning 6 o'clock in the house, someone woke up early and started playing the music, and maybe the neighbors are also waiting that this gentleman will play the music, we will hear this. I think maybe that type of atmosphere you might have at your place.
So absolutely, and I'm lucky enough because my neighbor is a pianist. So he plays piano in the morning, and I hear him, and I play the keyboard in the evening. He hears
I
me.
wish I can have a house next door, so I can have 2 musicians next door to me. I don't need to buy any music system. So that I wish that we can do that. Apart from this musical interest, I know I have discussed with Kavita ji and other people about Panchmukhi activities, but what areas, what would Panchmukhi or the Bengali community in the UK would like to focus in the future? What's the plan for the future? Because, as I said earlier, once upon a time there was a Kolkata, and once upon a time there was a British Raj, and once upon a time there was a Dhamak of Kolkata in India and abroad. But what are your future plans, especially in terms of Bengali community in UK?
Sure, is a question for me or Saket?
This question is for Saurabh, you.
Okay, all right, good. Thanks. Basically, I'll put this thing in a little differently. I would like to answer this. All right. So if you will often find that the immigrant communities, as we are, right, expand cultural by introducing the new art, culture, cuisine, customs, and help positively build the inclusive society, right? And visual and performing arts kind of transcend language and brains, and Panchamukhi's vision has been that, right? And we believe in kind of inclusions, and it gives us a chance to kind of also walk like for the elderly members of the community and youth to build up a symbiotic relationships. So we are working on those lines where Panchamukhi is just not about Bengalis, honestly, right? So we are working in various organizations, various communities, irrespective of caste, like religion or race or creed, and collaborating with each other. And last 12 months has taught a big lesson to us. As you know, COVID-19 is a kind of a global pandemic, and it has learned to kind of like it has opened up our eyes basically, and kind of
it has given us
how
a time,
we kind of
it has given us a time for reflection. It has given us a time
Absolutely.
that there is something in our life which is beyond this daily routine in our lives. There is also something which is beyond maybe beyond our personal lives, where we can focus how to give back to the community.
Yeah, absolutely. So in a way, our vision has been that, yes, we are doing this, but how do you want to take this forward? It's like we are trying to, we also, as Kavita mentioned, that next generation, we are pulling them in as well in this work we are doing right now. So yeah, so that's how we are kind of building ourselves going forward.
So basically, I can understand whatever you know, whatever you have brought from those cultural and heritage roots, you want to pass this to the next generation. I think that's the biggest challenge. I agree with you.
Absolutely.
Saketji, what collaboration or partnership arrangements would you like to explore in the future?
Yeah, um, very good question. I mean, as Kavita ji said and Saurabh ji said before, the vision of Panchamukhi is actually quite broad. It's not so much what we have done in so many years. It's about what the vision is and what we'll be going for in future years. And we are very mindful of the fact that we are not going to be able to fulfill all our vision just by ourselves. So we need a true collaborative effort to go in with various different organizations. And we are quite mindful of the Panchamukhi has been doing in, for the last so many years is actually functioning on its own, but bringing under a number of other like-minded organizations as well. So collaborating with like-minded organizations like us who would be willing to invest their time and energy in prospering this cultural interaction between Bengal and the UK. We would like to collaborate with government organizations as well. I mean, we have done that in the past where we have collaborated with the government of West Bengal. We have collaborated with publication houses from Calcutta, and we want to continue doing that. With the PR agencies, we want to continue doing that. With the cultural institutions who are based in the UK and are doing amazing work, we would like to very much collaborate with them. The Panchamukhi platform, the main important thing is it's not just for Panchamukhi. It's a wider platform. It's for the community. It's for whoever is interested in this journey with us. And we won't actually offer this platform just to Panchamukhi. If you look at our events, statistically, I would say less than 50% of the event would be just purely Panchamukhi. Even if we are doing Panchamukhi event, we are bringing with this journey people who are performing with us, so not just Panchamukhi members performing in that event. It's an event for all. So that collaboration is very important. And we are reaching out and we have collaborated. Like last Netaji's birthday on 23rd of January, we collaborated with our organization from Kolkata. Because what has been happening during the times of the pandemic, Harinji, is that the stage shows have stopped. People who rely on stage shows for their living, back home in India and
I
Bengal.
will just interject here and I will just add my comment here.
Yeah, sure.
It has stopped all those stage shows and programs, but it has opened a new world. It has opened a new world where a program is taking place in a small town, maybe in Murshidabad, and that program will be watched by thousands of or millions of people abroad in Europe and UK. So I think this pandemic has brought that program. So this pandemic has brought us a new opportunity, a new window, or it is said sometime when we have disasters, when we have problems, it opens up the new world. So you can see clearly that there are thousands of live programs nowadays, and those live programs are interactive type of live programs. We never thought, maybe in my life, I never thought that I will be able to interact with Dr. Harendra Singh Ji from Jammu and Kashmir, and that discussion will be based on Vedas and Vedant. I never thought and imagined, but because of this pandemic, it happened. There was a great discussion, and it's just not words. You can read words from the textbook, you can hear words from radio, or maybe you can watch in TV. But when you interact, I think it's just a transformation of energy, or maybe an energy is moving from one person to another person. So you rightly said that when you organize I think Netaji's program is normally on 23rd of January, I think, as far as I remember.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
Please continue.
May I just add one thing here, Harenji?
Yes, sir.
I have to mention this. Because last year when the pandemic started, we were depressed. Because the first reason was that, we would not be able to do the Durga Puja this year, right? So what could we do about it? And I really would like to thank MATV and especially Kuldeep ji to help us out, to bail us out on that. We were the first organization to have Durga Puja in a real time through MATV. And Kuldeepji, and real thanks to Kuldeepji to have kind of agreed to it. And when I and Paula went to discuss this with Kuldeepji said, we will do it. And
so this
honestly,
has
it
opened
was
a new
such a
world.
huge
We never
success.
thought in our lifetime that certain pujas and certain things will be done in this particular fashion.
Absolutely.
So it has opened a new world, and our ideas, our beliefs, our faith, our trust, it has also taken shape in a different format. We shifted our focus from just physical presence. We can also visualize. And I think this is how traditionally we believed. We believed that God is present, God is omnipresent, but we are not able to see it. So similarly, maybe with the new system, we will be able to feel the same presence again in each and every particle of this universe. So, Saketji, please, you were focusing and you were just trying to explain about the new opportunities and collaborations.
Yeah, so I was just focusing on that collaboration piece because how important it is for us that we collaborate in the true sense of the term. And Panchmukhi is a vision, and it's a vision which can be shared with a lot of other people. I was talking about this 23rd January event for Netaji's birthday, and the musicians and performers from India, from Bengal, who have not been able to, who rely on stage shows for their living a lot, and were not able to participate. And we collaborated with those artists and musicians from Bengal, and wherein they performed, in a virtual stage show type, and we telecasted it free of cost to our audience, and we got sponsorship for that, and all of that went to those musicians from Bengal who have had a really tough year in 2020. So a number of different things, Harenji, in our mind. We want to work with like-minded people in the UK. We want to work with other organizations. I mean, I can use this.
I hope, this type of collaboration, maybe, I was just mentioning earlier, maybe you will have similar events with different communities, those who are in UK, and you will have similar programs with the different communities in different places. But definitely when you have a program, when you have an Annadan or when you have a Rasgulla Dan, please remember us. We will be first to serve there and to get help from that particular part. There are a lot of things which we can discuss. We have discussed Kali Puja, we have discussed Kali Puja in different forms, in different places and in the world. And we have a lot of questions which we can explore in future. पर कई बार ऐसा लगता है कि हमारे पास हमेशा समय होता है कम, पर हमारे पास सवाल बहुत सारे हैं. इंसान की फितरत है कि मन में उनके हज़ारों सवाल नए उठते रहते हैं. जब उनके जवाब मिल जाते हैं तो कुछ और नए सवाल खड़े हो जाते हैं. हम उन सारे सवालों के बारे में, उन जवाबों के बारे में हम हमेशा चर्चा करते रहेंगे. बट वी आर रियली थैंकफुल फॉर today's contribution from Saurabh ji, Saket ji, Paula ji and Kavita ji. We will definitely continue with this conversation in future also, and I hope we all will love this program. We all will be benefited from the thought process, how to run an organization and how to bring diversity in this country. From this organization, we will love this particular part. हम वापस हाजिर होंगे आपके सामने अगले हफ्ते थेम्स स्पीक्स के इसी कार्यक्रम में. तब तक मैं रविंद्रनाथ ठाकुर को वापस याद करूंगा, जहां उन्होंने कहा था कि हम उस नई दुनिया को बनाने जहां हमारा सर हमेशा ऊंचा रहे. उस पोएम के बारे में मैं जितनी तारीफ करूं उतनी कम है, पर शायद मैं दर्शकों के लिए इतना ही छोड़ूंगा कि इस पोएम को फाइंड करें और इसको हमेशा पढ़ें. आपकी ज़िंदगी में जब भी कोई छोटा अवसर आएगा, वो आपको हमेशा आपको सर ऊंचा करके जीने की प्रेरणा देगा. तब तक के लिए शुभ रात्रि. गुड नाइट टू एवरीवन.